So I just got my youngest down. Took him for, well, I was going to take him to the river, but he ended up falling asleep. So I was going to make a video, but I don't know. I kind of like doing the live thing because you guys can ask me whatever. But I'm going to talk about my addiction and my battle with it. And I already put a trigger warning in the comment, but or whatever thing, description. But just in case, trigger warning, sexual abuse, violence, and I'm going to talk about drugs and how I use them, alcohol. So if that triggers you, please do not watch this, because I don't want to trigger anybody. And I say and like a lot, so bear with me. Okay, so my parents got divorced when I was 5, and out of respect for my parents, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about that, but it was a violent scene and kind of traumatizing. Not kind of, it was traumatizing for my brother and I. And my dad is bipolar, and alcohol is a symptom of that. And again, I'm out of respect, I'm going to not say too much about that. But anyways, so I grew up mainly with my mom, and she worked and went to school. She did the best that she absolutely could. And in my last one, I said about my medical diagnosis, and that I was fat. And anyways, so when I hit 15, before that, I had been made fun of my entire childhood. I used to have a kid in grade school follow me home and call me a fat cunt, say that I would never be loved, that I was never going to be good enough, and all the things that like a second grader probably should never hear. And that was traumatizing for me. So when I got skinny in the summer of 8th grade, going into my freshman year, when I hit school, I got all the attention that I never had before from the guys that used to make fun of me. And I loved that shit. It was so incredibly toxic. That was the first drug probably that I've ever been addicted to, was validation. And during that time, I had a couple girlfriends, and we hung out with some older men, older guys. And at 15, I lost my virginity, super drunk, to a 26-year-old man who was married and had children. And I remembered, and I was on my periods. That's how disgusting this person was. But I remember after this woman came in that was at the party, and she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She was trying to get me away from him, and I did leave. But I wouldn't call that rape at that point. It was statutory rape for sure, but I had my wits about me. So anyways, but the same group of men, or guys, or whatever, they were also Paisa gang members, and there was a night that I had my 2 friends over, and my mom was at work, so it was super easy to sneak out at that point. And they just wanted me to come out, which was super unlike them. They always wanted me to bring girlfriends so they could all, we all just would fuck around and shit. And I live about 5 minutes from the freeway. Again, I live with my parents again, but from the freeway, or from my house to the freeway, they had me chugging a bunch of beers, which I thought was totally normal, because we always chugged beers, and that was like the cool thing to do. And I always liked to one up the guys. So fucking stupid. But by the time that we got to the freeway, I was so fucking drunk that I could hardly sit up in the car. And I was sitting in the back with the guy that I liked, and I won't say his name, but we get on the freeway, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had no clue where we were going. And all of a sudden, all three of them start speaking Spanish in the middle of the car. Like, they all leaned into the middle of the car, and after that, then they proceeded to rape me on the freeway, and they would pull over and switch seats. And I was so fucking drunk that I had no idea what was going on, basically. And I mean, pretty smart to do that on the freeway, because nobody, anyways, so after that happened, I went a way that a lot of sexual abuse victims do, and I slept with anybody who showed me attention. And I didn't have sex for myself. I did it for validation. I did it for the dude. And when I turned 16, I actually got with somebody. It was my brother's friend, and he even asked my brother if he could go out with me. And he was 18, I was 16, and young, horny kid shit. But that person taught me to find pleasure for myself, which is kind of a weird thing to talk about because I was a teenager. But if I wouldn't have met that person, and that person wouldn't have shown me to do things for myself, especially when it comes to sex, which is a super important thing, I think, to talk about in addiction. But I don't know where I would be actually today if he didn't give me that wisdom. I don't know. But and so I'll go back to my addiction. But I stopped having sex for the dude, and I started having sex for myself, which was, I could never show my gratitude for this person, or to this person, enough. Like, it changed my life, and he changed my life. And even though we went through some shit, it's, you know, I still am very grateful that he was in my life. Anyways, so at the end of our relationship at 16, we started doing coke and oxy, and it was the opiates that I was actually, like, I wanted. And the coke was okay, but I'm not like a coke. It didn't really do much for me. It actually, like, calmed me down, probably because I'm ADHD, but it was the opiates that I would beg him to get, and I didn't have the money. I was 16. So anyways, so that was my first run-in with opiates at that point. And I'll skip ahead some stuff because it doesn't really matter, but I did end up in the psych ward when I was 18 years old. I tried to kill myself. And then when I was in the psych ward, I was misdiagnosed with bipolar. I think because my dad has it, they just kind of like grouped me in with that, even though I have the mania side of it, but I don't have that. I've never been a depressed person. Like, I don't get that super low like my dad does. But on my 19th birthday, I had gotten so high off ecstasy. Ecstasy was another one that I abused horribly when I was a teenager. And my 19th birthday, I noticed that my ex, Alex, was totally calm, and I was on the bed, and I mean, I was taking 16 pills a night. I could, at some points, take that much, but this night, it fucked me up so bad that I could not move. Like, I was just like, I can't do anything, I'm so fucking high. And he was super calm, but he kept going to the car, and I was like, what the fuck, what are you doing? Like, why are you so calm? And he's like, well, I'm doing heroin. And I was like, okay, well, fucking go get some, because I need to calm down. And in my insanity, I was so fucking proud that I could take 12 hits and not throw up, because he's like, oh, you're gonna throw up, and anyways, but after I found heroin, that was the love of my life, and I lost my fucking mind. And then I started incorporating meth with that, and I tried to get clean. Well, I've never gotten clean for myself until this time. The last time, or back when I was 19, or I had turned 19, yeah. During that year, I tried going to Hooper for my parents, and I left after 3 days. Didn't last long. And when I got back home, I tried lying, saying I was there the whole time. the whole 7 to 9 days that you're supposed to be there. But my mom had an inside friend because she's a nurse and knew the nurse there and knew that I actually hadn't been there the whole time. But so I ended up taking my dog that I had at the time, and I ran away with my ex, Alex, and it was abuse, it was violence. I had guns held to my head. I've had DEA and all of them, a circle around me with guns. So in shock that I kept walking forward, and they told me to turn around and could have gotten shot. And this woman cop, thank God, came up to me and was like, it's okay. But during that, and I think that was only like 2 years. And that 2 years, it was fucking hell. But I hadn't gotten low enough, and I hadn't reached my bottom. But we had gotten arrested. I got a Class B felony for 0 drugs on me, but it was in West Lynn, and they knew my ex was a dealer and stuff, so I got slapped with a Class B felony, ran, in jail, out jail, in jail, out jail, in jail, out jail, and then finally, the last time that I got booked, actually my mom set me up, and it was because I had an abscess on my arm right here, and I almost died from that, and so my probation officer came the next morning, and I tried running out the back door, and I was so sick, I don't know what I was thinking. I was in a robe and all this shit. It's so fucking stupid. But so they put me in jail, and my mom, as amazing as she is, she even called the jail to make sure that they were going to be able to take care of my abscess so I wouldn't go septic and die and all that stuff. And they were like, yep, we can take care of her, we'll take care of her. And they did actually a really great job in Clackamas County Jail, which is crazy because I know a lot of people hate Clackamas County, but they took care of me really well there. And from there I went to CSAP, and I spent 11 months there. At the time it was a 6-month program, 6 to 9 month program. But I had lots of entitlement issues, and I had criminal thinking and behavior, and so I stayed for 11 months, and actually relapsed a year to the day that I would have gotten a year. I ended up getting involved with an ex again, and I was on the run yet again. And then in that time, I ended up getting with somebody else, and we went on the run with heroin and meth for until I hit 23 or 24. It was when I got diagnosed with my brain tumor, and so I stopped. But I didn't do it for me, I did it for the medical diagnosis, and I was super in love with this guy, and he was getting clean and didn't want to be with me if I was going to be using, so I got clean for him. And but I stayed clean for from 24 till I was 28 years old. No, 29. My son was just a year, but I white knuckled the shit out of that. Had 0 program, didn't have a support group. Thought I was cured. All this stuff that they warn you about in the 12-step program. And when I relapsed, I started escorting to feed my habits. Did some dangerous shit. And I was with my ex, my kids' father. We were together from 26 till on and off, 26 till just a year ago. But that was a super toxic relationship. Anyways, I lost my kids. Well, now it's been 9 months. No, I lost them last September. So, and I was my apartment that I was living in for Section 8, had blood splatter on the wall. It was complete hoarder mess, trash. flies infestation. The time, I mean, I had abscesses on both my legs. This is how gross it was and how fucking insane it was. I didn't give a shit. They would just drain down my pants, and I didn't give a flying fuck. I had gained 15 or 50 pounds. I mean, I've never been so low in my life. I thought for sure after my kids got taken that I was going to die either by heart attack or going septic or, overdosing. But this time around, I'm so grateful how things organically morphed, because I woke up one morning and now I know it was my higher power telling me it's time. But when I woke up that morning, I even had shit, and I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. I called Powerhouse Detox, love you guys, and went in for 7 days. And when I came out, I was supposed to do Oasis treatment and do like 5 days a week intensive outpatient, and they weren't actually equipped for women who had sexual trauma, so I was placed in a room full of men. I was the only female, and that just was not gonna fly for me. And then I just started going to AA meetings. I don't know why I was against NA meetings at the beginning, but I had like 30 days, and then I started going to NA, and then after I went into NA, it was like my world opened up, and the amount of support that I've gotten through NA and my recovery people. I have a higher power now. I turned shit over to my higher power. My higher power took away my obsession compulsion to use that first day that I woke up and called, and I'm so grateful for that. My addiction comes out in other ways, like sex and validation, something that I'm working on in the 12 steps, about validation from men and using sex as instant gratification. That's a hard one for me, but I can't speak high enough of AA and NA, and if you're struggling, I highly suggest. I mean, they have Celebrate Recovery, they have Dharma meetings, they have what is that one called? Shit. Smart Recovery, that one's a cool one. But anyways, I was the lowest that you could probably get, and I know that I've had a lot of people reach out to me saying, how did I do it? How could I possibly? I was the no hope person. I had no hope for myself. I don't think anybody had hope for me at the point when I finally got clean. I've had people message me from my past saying like, holy shit, if somebody would have told me that, this was like 2 months ago, if someone would have told me like 3 months ago that Katie would have gotten clean, I would have never believed it. And so that's why I'm trying to make videos, because I want to share how much I struggled and that it's possible. It's so possible. And even if you're still using, all you have to have is a desire to stop using. And I know that I jumbled all throughout my addiction, and there was more shit that I want to say. Like every time I try to speak up in a meeting, I always forget everything. But I'll make more something if people are even interested. But anyways, if I can do it, you can do it. Never give up. Oh, I just saw this great fucking quote. It said, if you're going through hell right now, don't stop, keep going. And I was like, what? That's fucking amazing. So I guess that's all I really have for right now. Another one I like is Because I Found a Higher Power in NA. And I know, and I'm not downing anybody who's religious, because I know lots of religious people who are spiritual, but I know a lot of religious people who aren't spiritual. And one of the quotes that I love too is, religion is for people who are scared to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who don't want to go back. And that's, I live by. That's fucking amazing. And I am a very spiritual person, and it's a spiritual program. It's not a religious program. So, anyways, that's all I had for right now. Sorry if it sucked. But, alright, thanks.